For many years, advocates for the protection of land in the province have been warning about loopholes in the Lands Protection Act that would permit circumvention of the land holdings in the Act. The 2019 sale of Brendel Farms to an Irving-related company is alleged to have circumvented the Act by selling a corporation rather than the land, and therefore did not require the usual approval from Executive Council. The Island Regulatory and Appeals Commission subsequently conducted an extensive investigation, which was eventually subpoenaed and reviewed by the Standing Committee on Health and Social Development. In this report on the IRAC investigation, the committee recommended the following. Your committee recommends that an amendment be made to the Prince Edward Island Lands Protection Act to require Lieutenant Governor and Council approval when the ownership of a corporation with aggregate land holdings greater than 5 acres or shore frontage greater than 65 acres changes hands. Mr. Speaker, IRAC presented to the Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Committee in February of this year, and when asked what part of the Act should be reviewed, the CEO pointed to the transfer of shares of a corporation when land holdings, with land holdings as part of the transaction, as this does not trigger an application to IRAC. This is a loophole. Mr. Speaker, this government is showing that they have no more commitment than the former governments when it comes to doing the hard work of implementing recommendations. This government has been promising to bring forward LPA legislation in the next sitting since they were elected. This government has sat idle for 6 months with answers sitting in their lap. This government has deliberately chosen to delay legislative changes that islanders have been asking for. Yesterday, they again said legislation will not be coming until the next sitting. As legislators, we have an obligation to make legislation better to benefit islanders. When we have knowledge that will improve legislation and reduce loopholes, then we have an obligation to proceed. Mr. Speaker, I'm currently working with Parliamentary Council to prepare legislation to implement the recommendations of the Standing Committee. It is my hope to table the legislation and debate it before the end of this sitting. Islanders have waited long enough. This amendment won't fix everything, but it will eliminate one loophole. This is what Islanders expect of us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.